Hello! It's 12:30 on Thursday. You know what that means? It's our Ounce of Prevention chat. I am Stephanie Fine, and I am your host for the Ounce of Prevention chat. As in, it's all started here, so there's only one person doing that. And I am so happy to be here with you. If you would like to get the Ounce of Prevention, hopefully you've gotten the Ounce of Prevention and you're signed up to get it. There's a blog that comes out each week, and you get an email if you go to stephaniefinemd.com, F-E-I-N. You can sign up right there, and then you'll get it. And then from that essay, I take a piece of it and go into a little more detail here, so we can get a little cozy with it. And ultimately, I'd love for you to ask questions and interact, and that would be fantastic. I would love that. And this is a place that we can do it. So let's get started. This week, it's holiday season. I know you know that. It's actually raining here, Southern California. That doesn't happen very often, so it must be winter. In fact, it could be winter with no rain, but it happens to be raining. So there's also holiday parties. That's the main issue, with December, right? It's not so much that there's only parties. The issue with the parties is that they're emotional. That's the big ticket item. It's not just that we have a party. We can handle a party. That if we have just a regular party, the way we deal with that, and that was last week's, is you have a snack before you go, you plan what you're going to have, and you interact with the people. That's a party. The issue with this holiday season are the stressors. That's the thing that makes it a little more difficult. The present buying, finding the right thing for the right person, what will they think, all that. Am I spending too much? Am I not spending enough? All that kind of stuff with the pressure. But really, the biggest pressure is usually going into a room full of your family. Now, a lot of us, are perfectly fine with our family. Now, I would argue with that. So everyone who says they're perfectly fine with their family, there's been some work on their part. They may be amazingly enlightened and have done a lot of work, which is awesome, because that is ultimately where I want us to get to, where you can go into a room. Now, obviously, there are some circumstances under which it's not ever okay to be in the same room with certain members of a family. And you'll know what that is for you, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Edna, who says, you look like you've gained 10 pounds, and then in the same breath, why aren't you eating more of my pie? The kind of like more annoying kinds of things. And some years, they're more annoying than others. Some years, they roll off your back. Whatever, that's in Edna. Some years, it's like nails on a chalkboard. So what I would love for you to do is to evaluate this year. How does this year feel, this season? Are you bristly? Have there been some losses that make this a more difficult time? Are things not going the way you wanted, so it's more difficult? I would just take a personal evaluation of how your emotional life is going, so that you know if you're more sensitive going in. And remember, we're talking about this. I like talking about it just as a general well-being issue, but the truth is the well-being issue is vital to your weight. It's that emotional eating is one of the biggest issues in keeping us heavier than we want to be, because we're eating when we're not hungry. If you're eating any time not to satisfy a hunger, then that's overeating, and those calories will show up. And at a family party, drinking to sort of, lose yourself in it, or having more food than you normally would, is giving yourselves little bits of pleasure when it might be a difficult situation. And that's what we're talking about. So what I like to call the things we're talking about right now is emotional environmental control. So I talk a lot about environmental control because it's brilliant. The concept is so smart. If it's not in front of your face, you won't eat it. OMG, and then that doesn't depend on your brain and your willpower, and I'm blaming myself and everything. It's not there, you don't eat it. Beautiful. Same thing with your emotional environment. You can control it. I'm not saying you can control your emotions, although actually I am, because you can. It just can be very difficult if they come flooding through. but we can learn to anticipate them, feel them coming on, do something about them. We can do that. But if you're not even, I'm not even talking about being there yet, you can control your emotional environment by who's allowed in your space, who you're willing to visit, all that sort of stuff. So that you get to control where you go. You know what I mean? You put your body where you want your body to go. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to see if I can see this. Great. So, and that's why I say, if you don't want to go this year to the party that Uncle Louie's going to be at, don't go to it. And that, I know that can be hard. I know that it's not easy to do, but that would be an example of an emotional environmental control. And then what can happen is, you'd be amazed what happens in a year. If you are working on maintaining weight loss and working on not using food to soothe yourself and figuring out different ways of coping and understanding your feelings, next year might be perfectly fine. So this doesn't have to be a forever thing. It can. And it, like I said, it depends on the circumstances, but it doesn't have to be. And this year could be the year that you're like, I'm taking a time out. It's perfectly okay. It's also perfectly okay to go and to do your best. So that's something too. And one of my favorite things in the blog, you'll have to look at it, is the dysfunctional family bingo. I love that idea. And that's just a chuckle to help you get through. Seriously, use it like if you want to get through the evening. The other thing too is to have, a different groups of people. All this stuff is really hard. Changing tradition is really difficult. So you can evaluate whether you feel like you can not go, whether you can go with just a couple people. Also, bringing a friend that supports you might be an idea to bring to the party. So that is the main issue in terms of emotional environmental control that I wanted to bring up. You are allowed to have the holiday that you want. I know that could sound crazy, because you could be thinking, no, I can't. My father needs this, my mother needs this, my aunt. The truth is, you really can. Now, whether you want to or not is the issue. And all I'm asking is that you explore it a little bit. And as you're exploring it, feel how that would be with food. The other thing too is, you may decide to go and you may decide to, eat the entire ham. You know what I mean? Like whatever, that's how it ends up. But for the fact that you thought about it beforehand and you can evaluate it after, you will be making new decisions for yourself. So all awareness is good awareness, all of it, because you're using it to help your future decisions. And remember, with food, we get to make those decisions every single day. So when you learn one lesson here, you can use it in all these different decisions. So it's all valuable. So that's my main message for today, my friends. For family, it really is one of those things where see how you're feeling this season, this month, in December. See how you're feeling. If you're up to it, go for it. If you're not up to it, consider not doing it or changing it or being responsible for the way that you show up. Go late, leave early. Connect with the one person you really want to see. Because even if everything seems perfectly fine, you have, your food pushers, and some days we can live with the food pushers. No, thank you. No, thank you. And some days it's too much. And you just end up and you're thinking, why? Why did that happen? That may be something tiny that you're completely willing to deal with this holiday. So I eat a couple extra bites of this. Fine. Awesome. I just want for you to be able to be conscious of all the choices that you're making. And that's what I got for you today. So please enjoy the parts that you can of your family dynamic. And if you decide that family is not something that you could do, um, getting together with friends and really appreciating the connections you have there, it's all good. That's all really good. And remember, this is about eating. I sometimes forget to put it in there because to me it's so connected to the food. But when you're happy making your decision and you're with friends, then the eating can become the secondary thing. The being with the friends is the primary thing. So have a fantastic, fantastic holiday season with your family. Please be kind to yourself and honest with yourself about what you're capable of doing this holiday season. And it's all okay. It's all going to be okay. And I love you, and I only wish the very best for you, the very best in terms of working on conscious decisions around food. And as you're working, if you keep working at it, it keeps getting better. And that's what we talk about around here. So I'd love any questions. Please always feel free. You can join me on my Facebook page, which is right here, Stephanie Fine MD. You can please join planforpossible.com. That's a Facebook group, but if you go to planforpossible.com, you can join right there. And share this video. If you know someone who is having a hard time with family this season, let them take a peek at this. And I will see you next week, Thursday at 12:30. Bye.